Hi guys, so today we are back here. We're going to be talking about the new moon that's happening at 9 degrees Capricorn. It's going to be happening on December 30th. What are new moons? New moons are new beginnings, new seeds planted. They are new energy. They bloom 6 months approximately after they are planted. So 6 months from the new moon, there will be the full moon in that sign, and you can see what seeds you planted and how it panned out. And full moons are, of course, the culmination of when it was a new moon. So there'll be a new moon for everybody in Capricorn. And what is this particular new moon in Capricorn asking us to do? It's asking us, whenever there's a new moon in the sign, it's asking us to bring the energy of that sign into our lives. It is asking us to get to work. Hence why I got a blazer. I do have a shirt on. It's asking us to get in that mindset of being successful, of working hard, of being practical, of getting things done on time, of reaching higher and higher goals. And every time you set a goal, it is such Capricorn energy to not only revel in that success, but be like, okay, and how can we compound on this? I always use like these coffee shop examples in my videos, but yeah, if you have a coffee shop and it's doing well, can you start to sell matcha? And then once you do that, you're happy, but you want to go further. Capricorn is also a sign that is very much focused on quality. And this is in all areas of life. It is an earth sign, so it has that terrain energy that goes with it. Anything they do, whether it be work that they put out, whether it be the clothes that Capricorn puts on, or just the way that they execute something, they want it to be of high quality. Very, very important to a Capricorn. Incorporating hard work. Hard work includes all aspects of hard work. It includes time, it includes new ideas. You can't just work hard, you have to be inventive and adaptive. It includes researching the market, your audience, what's out there, what's working, what's not working, looking at the numbers, trying new things, thinking outside of the box. This is all stuff that Capricorn asks us to do. It also asks us to ask about our status in society. Do we like where we're at? Do we like the position that we hold at our current company? Do we like the position of our YouTube channel or our metaphorical coffee shop or whatever it is that you're doing? Do you like where you sit? And no matter if the answer is yes or no, it's how can we elevate? And Capricorn does not care about excuses. It does not care about limitations. Capricorn is about working with what you have. It is an earth sign to get to that next level, even if it's just incremental. This new moon is asking us, are we being responsible? How can we be more responsible? How can we be more practical? How can we check things off across the board on time, of high quality, and consistently reaching new heights? It's asking us, Capricorn is always worried about their future self. It's asking us to plant seeds about your future self. How do you want your future self to be in 6 months? You don't have to write things down, but I think that it can be helpful to have some sort of record of how you feel during the new moon and the full moon. In 6 months from now, where would you like your career to be? What skills would you like to acquire? Where would you like any side businesses to be? Where would you and what would you like your status to be? That's the kind of stuff that 6 months from now you want to plan. Write down those things. If you are a streamer of some kind and you want to reach a certain amount of subs, it's not about reaching goals, as I feel like we are hearing more and more in the self-improvement community. It's about creating systems. Do you want to put out more videos every week? Do you want to show up to work 30 minutes earlier so that you don't have to take anything home? Do you want to meal prep? That is not necessarily work, but it calls in that energy of Capricorn and being practical, so that when you do come home from work, you can pop something in the microwave, or you don't have to prepare as much, and that way you can utilize your free time in a better way. So that is all of what Capricorn is asking us to do. What very positive, very hardworking new moon in a cardinal sign. I love cardinal energy. And it's also being supported by a beautiful sextile from Saturn that is in Pisces, and it is a close sextile by 4 degrees. I think that this is beautiful because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, so it's going to give even, Capricorn is an energy all its own, but when you have Saturn giving it a push, it gives it even more of like a strong root. Just imagine like a tree, but it's like very deep into the ground, and it's going to grow and be very big, and it's going to be there for hundreds of years. It is giving you that push of being even more disciplined. even more practical, even more shrewd as far as how your mind thinks. Capricorn doesn't just work for the sake of work. Saturn is asking you to be even more cognizant of what opportunities are out there. How can you improve? And what's really beautiful about it is that Saturn is in Pisces. So Pisces is very imaginative, very creative, can just pull things out of the cosmos, things that people have never seen before, have never thought of before. Pisces is top tier as far as their level of creativity. And so the fact that we have a planet that is very practical, very opposite of Pisces, very practical, very pragmatic, very grounded, very success and career oriented, with an imaginative sign, it allows you, and it allows all of us, and it's been doing this for a while, to take what it is about us that is creative and dreamy and imaginative and roll it into something that we can use in the real world. If you are a painter, a photographer, or a creative in some way, it's allowing you to get those ideas that Pisces will have. And then, but Pisces is also can be so dreamy that, and I do this all the time as a 12th house person, I have this great idea and I'll be like, this is amazing, and then by the time I drive home, like, I forget, and then something new comes, and then it's kind of mixed up. And Pisces has a hard time taking what is out here and birthing it into reality. But with Saturn here, it's just perfect conduit to help bridge the gap between reality and our daydreams. We're getting grounded, and we're getting out of unrealistic daydreams with Saturn is in Pisces, and we're making them realistic. You are making your ideal self, your dream self. You're able to visualize your future self, and you're able to also have the shrewd mind to get there. So just really a beautiful combination of imagination and hard work, and you really cannot have one without the other. Without the grounding of Saturn, you just have dreams, and with the pure practicality and no imagination, you just have, you know, standard quality work that is not bad but does not stand out or capture the attention, you know, it does not stand out from the rest. So I think it's going to be a really positive new moon. We had a couple rough new and full moons back like October and November, but I feel like they've been really positive. The new moon is going to come to fruition on July 10th, 2025, and we have a full moon in Capricorn. Whatever you start now, whatever you want your 6 month, whatever your 6 month plan is, 6 month Capricorn plan is for yourself, you're going to, back in July, see how far you've gotten and what things worked for you and what things didn't. I'm going to get into the signs now, but before I do, I always give a disclaimer. I'm going to be reading for your ascendant. However, if you're born farther north or farther south from the equator, your houses can be vastly different in size. Also, the degree of where your ascendant starts can vastly shift the other houses as well. So listen for your ascendant, but you really want to get a chart calculator to see to the degree what planets are doing what and what houses for you. That being said, let's get to Aries. You guys have a new moon in your 10th house, and it's in Capricorn. So there's all this strong energy. It's really like you're drinking a Red Bull. I always say that for new moons. You are really excited and you really feel charged up about your career and your status and how you can get to the top. You're serious. If there's any opportunity out there, and I would argue that there's opportunity for all of us, no matter what you do, to get ahead and push yourself forward, you are very intent on taking that on right now. And that looks different for everyone. Somebody could be a bartender, someone can be a tax accountant, someone can be a photographer, but even though those jobs are so different, what they all have in common is there is a way for all of us to be better, and only you know what that way is. But these new ideas are coming to you, and even if it's not new ideas, it can probably be things that you have already been thinking about for a while and you're really wanting to put them into action. We all know things that we should do and not do, and sometimes we do the things that we shouldn't do anyway because we are lazy or because it's easier or familiar or it's hard to break the pattern. But when Capricorn comes, it really can wash away those excuses and really get us, you know, into that mode of working hard. And the reason that it does it is because Capricorn is so turned on and it is so attracted to hard work and the fruits of that labor. Like, Capricorn likes working hard like an Aries would like to work out, or like a Taurus would love money. You guys are not shying away from that. So you're really incorporating these new ideas There can be new opportunities, and if there aren't new opportunities, I would say put some out there. Put some job apps, put some bugs in the ear, start planting the seeds of whatever you can do, and know that time, and I got this from the book Atomic Habits, time is the greatest benefactor for those who have good habits, and it's the worst enemy of those who have bad habits. So I would implore you guys to put in some good habits surrounding your work, and I think you're going to be very happy 6 months from now. I think that Capricorn, side of you is going to be very happy. You do have, as an Aries, a midheaven and a cardinal sign, and I just find that just anyone who has a midheaven and a cardinal sign, I find that their career, you guys are not lackadaisical about it. You care a lot about it. So yeah, very beautiful sign too, and very beautiful energy coming into your 10th house. It's also having a very nice sextile to Saturn, which is in your 12th in Pisces. So, and Saturn has been here for a while. So for the last year to 2 years, depending on where you are in the transit, Saturn has been going through your 12th house in Pisces, providing some more grounding to the more imaginative side of you. You just have naturally Pisces in this very Piscean house, can be dreamy, have lots of creativity, but maybe you're not putting that creativity out into the world. Pisces is also, doesn't really have an ego. The ego is dissolved and the 12th house is hidden. So your creativity is kind of hidden. Maybe it is that you have great works or great ideas, but you have not been putting them out. But then Saturn comes in and changes and allows you to be like, no, once a week we're going to post on our Instagram this, or we're going to use social media, or we're going to post flyers, or it allows a structure to the chaos and the creativity. You could be getting more disciplined, I would say, when it comes to your mental health and your 12th house practices, things like yoga, meditation, praying, your just relationship to the divine, to the spiritual. You're getting more practical about it. And this could be something as simple as 5 minutes a day, you meditate. It could be every night saying something that you're grateful for. I do that. And I used to do it more sporadically, but now I try to do it every day. Stuff like that. You're getting your 12th house in order. And it feels good. You could be being more disciplined at this time as far as going to therapy, taking your mental health seriously. Sometimes if you're on medication, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I feel good now, so I stopped. Or I don't think I need to go to therapy anymore. Maybe because you don't want to pay, or you cannot pay, or you feel like you've learned enough. And Saturn comes in here and teaches us that only when we take this house very seriously can we get the most help, the most creativity, the best mental health, the best feeling of truly feeling like we know what we're connected to out there. But you have to be serious about it. You have to be practical about it. Saturn has been helping you do that. And how the new moon and the Saturn sextile merge is that Saturn sends this beautiful energy when you can be practical about your imagination and be practical in taking care of your mental health. Only then can you have a good career. And that's what's fueling. They're like, the 12th is here, the 10th is here. It's providing like a nice push, solid, not too strong, but firm push for you to reach those goals. It allows for even higher levels of creativity. Capricorn has the shrewdness to recognize opportunity. Pisces has the creativity to think of things that others would not have otherwise put together. You cannot show up to work if you don't have good mental health. If you are unwell inside emotionally or unwell in your mind, it's going to show in your work. It's going to show in how you talk to people, that even if you put out great work, if you're conversing with people and you're not feeling good, then that's not going to go well. And networking is a huge part of opportunity. So it's really, really nice to have Saturn whipping Pisces into shape, I'll say, and then Pisces, by being its best Piscean self, is able to send this Capricorn energy, is able to send you a lot of creativity, hope, and imagination around your career. So yes, Aries, I would say use your imagination, is my advice, to fuel ideas about career and your future direction, to your future goals. I think you're really going to feel invigorated by this new moon, and we will talk about it again in July. Hi, Taurus. So you guys are having a new moon in Capricorn in your 9th house. So you're going to be getting practical. You're going to be setting goals and making systems to work towards these goals. That's the most important. More important than the goals are the actual systems to get there. About your 9th house, about your travel, about your education, about your fun and your spontaneity. it's interesting to have Capricorn in the ninth house, because the ninth house is very Sagittarian, it's very and Capricorn is very, and they actually go together. It's actually a beautiful blend, because a lot of times, especially me, I'm a double Sag, I know how it is when you get an idea and you're like, I'm gonna go to Puerto Rico. And I did this last month, and I hadn't bought the plane ticket, and I had not requested the time off from work, and I didn't have the hotel planned, and so the trip actually fell through. I was supposed to be going with a friend. Capricorn here is going to really help you, giving you new ideas, making you feel invigorated and new energy about setting that up, about fun. You don't just wake up in Greece, or you don't just blink and get in your car for 20 minutes and then you're in Europe. You have to do a lot of strategic planning. You need to call on that Capricorn energy. You need to get your paperwork in order, make sure that all your bills and everything that needs to be taken care of when you do travel is taken care of before you go. Your kids and your pets and who you know for however long and stuff like that. Your job, your work. You want to make sure that everything is good while you're gone. Make sure that everything will be good when you come back. We need Capricorn here. When it comes to spontaneity and fun, you need to have that. That can look like, if you work late, you may bring a change of clothes so that you can gussy up and go straight from work to meeting your friends, to having fun. That could look like having sneakers in your car, so that if you like to walk, if you like to do nature trails, which I like to do sometimes, that's ninth house, that's adventure, that's activity, that's getting outside. That embodies the ninth house to me. Let's keep the sneakers in your car, so that when you're driving, you might see a nice trail, you might be like, you know, I kind of want to walk that. And you're ready. You are ready, using your Capricorn preparedness for adventure, for fun. It actually goes together. A lot of people think that structure and fun are like mutually exclusive, and like one is counterproductive to the other, but it isn't. The more structured you can be, the more Capricornian you can be, the more fun you can actually have, because you'll have more money, you'll have more time, and you're more prepared to let these things into your life. How many times has any of us, no matter what your sign, gone on vacation and you wanted to do all these excursions and you didn't have enough money to do the things that you wanted to do, or you didn't plan, or you booked your Airbnb over here, but a lot of the stuff you wanted to go is pretty far over here. Those are things, that's how we can use this Capricorn energy. We're also making new goals. Capricorn is always about making goals, and once we reach that goal, like I said in the beginning, we are going to then look for another goal. Capricorn cannot live without a goal. You're making goals for your ninth house right now. I would say make a fun bucket list, and also make a travel list for you guys. Every year I make a summer bucket list, but I put it from April 1st to October 1st. That's actually 6 months, but it's full of fun things I want to do. It's nothing related to work. It can be, I want to go skating, I want to go see a play, I want to go see whatever, but I'll make that. That is the kind of structured fun that you guys like. Make a bucket list, make a plan for your travels. Do you want to, is there a place you've been wanting to go? How to get there? I would suggest, even for you guys, putting the easiest trips first and then going to the bigger ones. You know, like if you live in Florida and you've been wanting to go to like Guatemala, that might be easier than saying I'm going to go to Bali for a month, or however you say it. But you get what I mean. Adding in that structure and that for your fun and for your travels really will make you feel good, and you're going to realize that you're actually going to get there and do those things a lot faster. So there is a beautiful sextile from Saturn in the 11th house in Pisces to the new moon in the 9th house. This looks like you being more practical about your dreams. We have Pisces, which is such an imaginative sign. It can put things together in such a creative way that no one else would have thought about, or no one else would have seen, because Pisces is so otherworldly, it is so different, and it can be oddball out, but in a good way. And being that oddball out, Pisces calls upon energy that most of us don't see, recognize, cannot put the pieces together. Pisces puts together pieces of a puzzle that seemingly don't fit, but it makes a beautiful picture, something that we've never seen before. But Pisces can also be very daydreamy, very lost, very delusional. Pisces can think of a great idea and an hour later they can forget it. And so there really needs to be a conduit of getting the things that we think in our imagination and birthing it into reality. So it's been an absolutely beautiful transit of Saturn going through Pisces, giving this chaos and I mean that in a positive way, and giving this creativity structure so that it can actually be birthed into the world and do more than just dazzle us in our own mind. letting the world see our creativity. You, with having Pisces in your 11th house, have creativity around your personal dreams, and around your friends. So you could have dreams, personal dreams that people really don't have. Either they could be very specific, or they could just be very off the beaten path. You may want to be a beekeeper, or you may want to be president of your city's, I don't know, local mural program. Something that it's not a common answer, but it means a lot to you. And your dreams do revolve around creativity. That's why I mentioned the murals. They do revolve around painting and film and photography and makeup and making things look like what they're not, but what you want it to be, in a good way. Saturn here has been really helping you bring that into fruition and do that. And how it helps your new moon is that by being creative with your personal goals, I think you have more of an idea of what you like to do for fun. I think some of us, we don't know. A lot of us don't know what we like to do for fun, which is why things like Netflix and video games are so prevalent in our society, because it's like, it's giving you this dopamine hit, but a lot of us have not even tapped into the things we might really like to do, because there's so much technology, at our fingertips at all times. But you may not know that, until Saturn has been making this transit, that I actually have been having ideas about like playing the violin. And then Saturn comes through and it's like, well, give you that idea. How about you take a class? How about you rent one and see how you like it first? Do you want to proceed? Do you want to switch to another instrument? Knowing what your personal dreams are, and having structure with your friends can also help fuel this new moon. I think we all can relate to when we're in a group chat, or you're talking to friends, you're like, yeah, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna go do that, and it never kind of happens because one person couldn't get off of work, and one person didn't save enough money, and one person forgot, and there's like all these things going on. We need structure in our group of friends to do the ninth house things. If you want to travel somewhere, especially if you want to travel with people, it's not just about you making it there, it's about making sure that everybody else can get there as well. So my advice to you guys, Taurus, would be to use this time to make your goals about travel and about spontaneity and about fun, make them a reality, and use this time of Saturn in your 11th house to harness the energy of being practical about your personal dreams and being practical with your friends. And that's going to allow you to have these new ideas about what it is to have fun, about what it is to travel, and about what it is to be spontaneous in a more planned way. And this will really help make your dreams a reality. So Taurus, we will talk about it again and how everything went in July. Gemini, you have a new moon in Capricorn, and it's going to be in your 8th house. A very interesting house to have a new moon, and very interesting sign. So you're going to be having, first we can talk about finances. You're going to be having new goals, new energy. You're going to feel invigorated to create a sense of financial security within your own life. The 2nd house is financial security as far as the numbers, what's coming in and what's going out. 8th house is our emotional attachment to our financial situation. Do we feel solid in this earth? Do we feel ripped off? Do we feel angry? Do we feel proud? That is 8th house, the 8th house manifestation of how it relates to money. So you're having new goals, because Capricorn is about goals, about your financial standing, about loans. This very much can just be like, hey, I want to increase my credit score, and you can be very focused on that. At this time, I would suggest that you guys go on YouTube. YouTube has like one of the best, just like free finance, like education platforms out there. You can research anything about investing in the stock market, in bonds, 401k, your Roth, your health savings plan. There's different like ideologies about finances on YouTube to learn about minimalism. There's a no buy month where people try to not buy anything for a month. Like there's all these things, these new ideas, these new plans, these new systems that you want to put in when it comes to your finances to increase your credit score. Maybe you're trying to secure a loan. That could happen. You could be working on your finances now, and 6 months later when we come back, you may be able to apply for a loan if you're trying to get a new house or a new car or something like that. A new moon in Capricorn, emotionally, you're wanting to set emotional goals, and I think you are wanting to set a goal of maybe letting some baggage go. I want you guys to think if there's anything that you've been holding on to that hasn't been serving you, a grudge, or something that you just keep going over and over in your mind is kind of pissing you off. It's not about being okay when we don't like things. It's just about not letting it bother us, because sometimes the things that bother us, we just cannot do anything about. Like, there's so many things in this world that we would all change to tailor it more to us, and yet we don't have that power. We do not run the world. We are not God. So the only next logical step would be to become okay within your own self, to have inner peace even when there is something outside bothering you. And I think that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make goals about your emotions, set systems. This could be, hey, when I get upset at work, I'm going to count to 10, or I'm going to take a walk to the bathroom. But I'm not going to go outside and smoke, or go in the hallway and vape, or I'm not going to binge eat after work to make myself feel better. And this is related to work. Maybe you have emotions about work and you're like, look, I want to be calm and be peaceful about the work that I do. It's also about intimacy. It's physical intimacy and it's emotional intimacy. Maybe you are wanting to put new ideas, new structures, new plans into how you do that. If maybe you find the way that you've been relating to a partner physically and emotionally has not been working for you, you don't feel satisfied, or they don't feel satisfied. So Capricorn doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care about tears. It doesn't care about how you feel. What can we do to get this done? That is what Capricorn is asking you here. What can you do to be closer physically, to be closer emotionally to your partner? Assuming that all is healthy and they deserve it and that's what you want to do. Research. Your mind is going to be looking naturally for books, articles, little YouTube things. I feel like every time I say something, my YouTube will suggest a video of something I just talked about. And even just opportunities that you notice in your own life to be closer to a partner, to share with them, maybe to come up with new systems for how they share things with you. If you are single, you may realize at this time, like, hey, like a lot of us, I am working, I am going home, I am not meeting anyone to become close to and to share with. So you might say, hey, every day I'm going to get on the apps and I'm going to do at least 10 swipes so that I can have a higher chance of meeting someone. Or when I meet people, maybe you usually wait 6 months or a year to really tell them personal details about yourself or significant events in your life. And you might be like, you know what, I want to do that sooner. I want to have a system where I am just showing more of myself. Capricorn wants you to make a well-oiled machine of your 8th house so that it's tailored to you. That's what every planetary transit is trying to say to us. It wants to tailor it to you. So yeah, Gemini, I would say that that's what's going on in your 8th house. You have a lot that you are trying to, you have a lot of emotion and a lot of things that are intangible, and you're trying to use practical methods to make your 8th house more of a pleasant place for you. So that's interesting in and all of itself. And then we have a beautiful trine from Saturn, which is in Pisces in your 10th house. Pisces is extremely creative. It is able to pull things out of the cosmos. It's able to put things together that other people would not have normally put together. It's able to see opportunities and art and things that the majority of us miss. And it is in your 10th house. The flip side of Pisces is that a lot of times with this creativity and with this dreaminess, a lot of what goes on, we as like Pisces people, 12th house people, can be bedazzled by what we see in our mind, but getting it out into the world can be a very frustrating process, and a lot of times it doesn't happen at all. It just kind of stays up here. Saturn has been transiting through Pisces, and the beautiful part about that is it is a perfect conduit from taking our imaginations and birthing them more into reality. And that looks different for everyone because it depends what you're imagining about. But for you, it's happening in your 10th house. So you may have a lot of fantasies for your life about and dreams about your career and about status, maybe about being the boss. Maybe you constantly fantasize about your own business, kind of starting a side hustle, or just being successful, like being your idea of successful. And probably I would even go as far as to say fantasies about being successful in Piscean ways. Maybe this could be starting a nonprofit, starting a charity that is successful, being creative or artistic in your career, things to do with film, things to do with smoke and mirrors and design, careers where you make something look like something else. That could be makeup, that could be special effects, that could be the background set of a play or a fashion show or something. You are creating a reality with your career, like those kind of careers. So Saturn here for the last year and a half or two, depending on how far you are into the transit, has been great in making you be more practical and be more realistic about these dreams. And even if your dreams are maybe far-fetched or they're very tall, it's about adding this practicality into getting there. Okay, so you want to do XYZ, you want to be a makeup artist. That's something that's Piscean-like and career-like. And I'm just throwing out an example, but try to apply these to yourself. So let's say you want to be a makeup artist. Can you start, let's get practical and let's not just daydream about it. What makeup do you have? You can do a face a day. You can do a face yourself. Take pictures, post those things online, promote yourself, put out flyers. It's taking our imagination and it's making it real. And it's a beautiful trine to the new moon in the 8th house. And this is my advice for you guys, Gemini, for how to best use new moon. When you use the lessons that are learned from Saturn in your career, and you apply those to the areas of your 8th house, you can see how that can help, because often things we learn in one area of life can be helpful in a completely separate area. Being practical, creating systems to reach your goals more than just creating a goal, and trying to push for being successful in your 10th house, the same muscle that you build in doing that, you can apply it to your 8th house, especially because the topics are so nebulous, like emotional intimacy, the feeling of financial security. You can use the lessons that you learned from your career to create an emotional world that fits you and fits your maturity. We should all be also maturing over time, and that goes for your emotional state as well. So yes, Gemini, keep working on your 10th house, keep working on your 8th house, keep being practical, using your emotion and using your creativity in conjunction with the practicality. And I think you're going to be very happy with the results. I think in July, when we come back and visit this, you are going to feel transformed emotionally. Hopefully you let anything go, and you are going to be feeling pretty sure also about your career. So yeah, we'll talk about it again in 6 months. Cancer, you guys are having a new moon in your 7th house in Capricorn. Very beautiful angular house, and in a cardinal sign. So there's a lot of strong energy right now about you getting practical about your relationships with others. Capricorn is about setting goals, but it's also about the systems and being practical about how to reach those goals. It's not creating a goal for the sake of creating a goal. It's, okay, this is what I want to do, and Capricorn shoots high, and then it's like, how are we going to get there? And each step is a very achievable bite-sized step that will inevitably lead to the top, because for Capricorn there is no other way. The success is not an option, it is a requirement. When it is in your 7th house, you are feeling invigorated to create a system that leads you up a ladder, up a set of stairs, if you will, to a relationship that you want. We all most of us want a relationship, and that looks different for each of us. How it looks is different for each of us. And a lot of times, maybe most of the time, at least we have to ask ourselves, are we doing the steps that will take us to the relationship that we say that we want to get to? And a lot of times it doesn't. People, if you ever have talked to friends or family or anybody, they will be like, oh, I want a man who makes 6 figures a year, and he's 6'3", and he has a master's degree, and he's 20 years old. And it's like, is that practical? Is that real? Is that possible? And also, what are you bringing to the table to make that sort of person? Because that person always exists. What are you doing to attract them? Would that person realistically want you? So there's this, and I don't mean that to be harsh, I just mean there's such a disconnect sometimes between what we say we want in a relationship and the kind of person we want, and then who we are and how we live our lives. Like, how do those two worlds meet? If you're not doing the things that person would want, then you're not going to meet that person. So Cancer, you are very driven and very goal-oriented about meeting that person. This can look, You can have new ideas. This can look like having new ideas as far as where you're meeting this person at, as far as how to meet them. If you want to meet a professional athlete, you're gonna have to start going to some games. You're gonna have to start going to where the athletes are. And so you might start doing that. I know that's like a bad example, or maybe, I don't know. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, in order to meet that person, you're gonna be setting goals that makes it easier for you to meet that person. If you wanna meet a lawyer or you wanna meet someone successful, you're going to go to parties and networking events where there are people who are successful, where that kind of person would be. They would typically hang out. Those are the goals. You are having new ideas around your relationships and around your partner, how you want to be as a partner. And these are Capricorn-like, so maybe you are having these new ideas. I want to start presenting myself in relationships as a person who is a hard worker, who is practical and is goal-oriented and cares about success and cares about their future. Capricorn has to, it's like a requirement, be better in the future than they were in the past. 6 months from now, you should be farther along in whatever arena you're trying to get farther along in than you were 6 months previously. And if you're not, Capricorn is not going to be happy with that. And so Capricorn usually just doesn't even play around with those kinds of ways of being because it knows it's going to be unhappy, so it just stays away naturally. You may be calling to yourself now, if you are single, to think about what kind of qualities you want in a partner that are Capricorn related. Do you know what kind of job that you want them to have? Do you know what you want their work-life balance to be like? I mean, we don't want a person who's like always at work, because then they have no time for us. Stuff like that. It could be in the past that maybe you have dated people who are not very ambitious, and now you're getting serious. You're like, you know what? This is moving forward because it's the new moon. This is the kind of energy I want in my relationships. I want people who are focused on achievement. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. Pisces is very dreamy and imaginative. It can pull things out of the air and put things together that we otherwise would not have. But Pisces sometimes can have a hard time bringing that into reality. A lot of times a Piscean or a 12th house person will be just dazzled by the things that they see in their mind, the things that they're able to come up with. But a lot of times it doesn't actually make it into reality because Pisces gets high, or they go somewhere, or they forget, or they have a different daydream about something else. And so it kind of just often stays up here. When Saturn has been going through Pisces for all of us, it has been a perfect conduit into bringing us back down to reality, into taking the things that we see in our imagination and birthing them into the world, making our daydreams a reality. And you've really been doing that in your 9th house. It could have been that for your life, you've been fantasizing about going to a certain place or just about travel in general. And when Saturn came through, it was like, okay, do you have your passport? Are your documents in order? Are you ready to go? Do you have a system set up? Capricorn is also Saturn is also the ruler of Capricorn. So it's a very similar energy. Do you have a system set up so that if you do, once you get the money and you get the time off from work, you book the plane tickets, is everything going to be practically okay in your home? Are people going to be taking care of your pets or your kids or your work or whatever things need to be taken, or your dog, you know, whatever things need to be taken care of around your house? Did you set that up? Did you think about that? Capricorn is about planning. Did you add that into your plan? And a lot of times people think that fun and people think that planning and structure are mutually exclusive and that you can't do one without the other, but it's really not true. When you have structure, you're actually able to have more fun because you have planned it out, because there is more time, because you do have more money, or the fun goes smoother. How many times have you been on vacation and you wanted to do all these excursions but you didn't have the money? Or you booked the Airbnb because it was cheap over here, but most of the stuff that you want to do is all the way over here. And so now you're taking a bunch of Ubers or taking a lot of time off the trip. That's stuff you have to plan for. And that's why Saturn here has really been great. And it's creating a beautiful trine to the 7th house, to the new moon, asking you again to be creative, but at the same time practical, and imagining how you want your relationship and your partner to be and how you want to be as a partner. They always think about the kind of energy that we are giving to other people. We don't only want partners, but we are a partner to someone else. So think about their experience as well. My advice for you guys, Cancer, a need for achievement is deeply influencing your values right now. and how you see the world. See how that can help you influence your relationships. How can you incorporate the two? How does that define ideas about partnership? Do you want to be a successful partner? Do you want a successful partner? Or do you want a partner who's serious about adventure? Who's like, look, every 6 months we're going to go somewhere. Maybe that is a serious practicality that you want in a partner. Explore your beliefs and how they've been evolving over the last 2 years. That's also part of the 9th house. And that will help you unleash and reveal some new ideas to you about partnership. I think there's going to be beautiful things starting for you at this time. I would definitely say get out there on the apps, get out there, go on some dates, start asking people. And there's a lot of energy here right now, and you want to take advantage of it. And we're going to revisit it again in 6 months. Leo, you guys have a new moon that's going to be happening in Capricorn. And it's going to be in your 6th house. A very nice, smooth blend of planets and houses and how this is going to go. New moon in the 6th house with Capricorn is about being more successful, squeezing every drop of success out of your everyday. And all of us, every single person in this world can use that, especially with how much technology we have at our disposal. Couple minutes on TikTok here, couple minutes watching a YouTube video here, or even, I didn't even realize until recently how much time I take to like pick a song, or like if I'm brushing my teeth and I'm gonna watch a video, I'll spend like 90 seconds like looking for what video to put on while I brush my teeth, which only takes 2 minutes. I could have been done brushing my teeth. Like, we all have, I think, infinite areas of life where we can relate to. It's like, I could have gotten more done today. I could have been successful. I could have been further. I could have, think about your current self and your future self. You could have bridged that gap just even a little bit more and closed in on it if we utilized our everyday. Only until this year have I truly realized how important the 6th house really is and how just overlooked it also is. So you're having new ideas, you're creating goals, but you're also creating very practical systems to get to those goals. That looks like, I'm going to start putting my phone away from my bed, but I'm going to set the alarm so that when it goes off, I have to get up and get it. That looks like putting your phone on D&D after a certain time so that you're not tempted to be like, oh, let me just see real quick what's on Instagram. That's going to help you, because you're being practical, get more out of your everyday. Capricorn in the 6th house is also about working towards your goals every single day. Whatever your goal is in life, however you want to be successful, however you want to move up the ladder, whichever ladder you want to move up, I'm sure there is something you can do every single day that might be so tiny but can be helpful. If you want to, and this is not a Capricorn goal per se, but it is a goal. If you wanted to lose 10 pounds, or let's just say you want to just get more fit, that's a goal. But your system could be every day I'm going to do 10 push-ups, and then after 2 weeks I'm going to do 12, and then 2 weeks after that I'm going to do 15, and you'll see 6 months later, because you've been putting in that work, you got there. And the book Atomic Habits, and I'm not quoting it verbatim, but he said, time is the enemy of those with bad habits, and it is the benefactor of those with good habits. So you just want to create that in the everyday, making your everyday space make sense. How would a successful person go about their everyday, and how would they make their everyday space? What is their routine, like their schedule? How much structure do they have? What is their diet like? A lot of times our diet shows how we care about ourselves. If you're always running late and staying up late, and you're running to work and you're getting Chick-fil-A or Wawa or McDonald's, it shows not only a lack of care for your 6th house, and that's, every once in a while it's fine, but I'm talking about if you do it too much. It also shows a lack of preparedness for your everyday, because why didn't you pack a lunch? Stuff like that. Beautiful place to have the new moon. And so you're just going to be thinking of ideas. They're just going to come to you. It never hurts to research. Definitely get out there and look about how you can be more practical. There's so many YouTube videos, but because Capricorn just has the shrewd mind, you're naturally going to start picking out things in your own environment at this time about how can I be more practical. And I think it's also very fitting that this new moon happens on December 30th, right as we get into the new year. Everyone does their new year, new me, New Year's resolution. So it's that kind of energy going on. There's a beautiful sextile from Saturn to Pisces, which is in your 8th house. So for the last 1.5 years to 2 years, depending on where you are in the transit, Saturn has been moving into this house, which for you, for your lifetime, has been pretty nebulous, where you have lots of daydreams. You can be pretty creative, but also maybe lacking in just some direction and maybe feeling confused a bit. Saturn has come here to release the confusion. Saturn has come here to make your daydreams a reality. It's the ruler of Capricorn, so it's a similar energy here. Whatever goals that you have about your 8th house, physical, emotional intimacy, financial security, emotional stability. What does your inner world look like? How are you dealing with your inner demons, your inner turmoil? How's that going? It's here to give you ideas and structure and discipline and systems to create your 8th house to make it how you want. How you want it to be is the ideal side of Pisces. Creative, compassionate, imaginative. We don't want to be delusional, lost in daydreams, or self-pitying. So Saturn comes in here to sort of wipe the negative away and strengthen you up so that you can get to the best part of the 8th house. Cleaning out things that you don't need, emotional patterns that you don't need. If you've been holding a grudge, or if there's something that you do when you're upset and that hasn't been working, you're gonna let those things go. When I was younger and I used to argue with my boyfriend, I used to just go into a different room and I just used to sulk and wait until he'd be like, what are you upset about? And those kinds of things are not healthy, and I had to learn not to do that. And so I just wanted to give you guys an example of how creating a system of something in the real world can help alleviate us emotionally in a more constructive way. So my advice for you guys, Leo, I want you guys to use anything that has not been working out for you, particularly with money, as a stepping stone to be more practical and tie it to the 6th house. You've also, because Saturn is here in your 8th, you've been thinking a lot about mortality. I want you to use this new moon in the 6th house to realize that we are all mortal, we will all die. However, we want to take care of ourselves as much as possible in the meantime, in between time. Because mortality is inevitable, and taking good care of ourselves is always a choice. That self-transformation of the 8th house allows us to be more practical. By doing the proper inner work on our emotions, our sexuality, and our finances, we will love the structure of our everyday lives. Once we get our emotions in order, we'll be ready to wake up and tackle the day. And we're going to be getting some stuff done, Leo. So yes, this is a very exciting new moon. And in 6 months from now, we're going to see how your schedule and how your routine worked out. And yeah, Virgo, there's a new moon in Capricorn in your 5th house. I always love anything with the 5th house, especially a new moon. There are new ideas, there's new energy. You're feeling very invigorated because this is Capricorn, it's a cardinal sign. About your 5th house, you're feeling ambitious. You're feeling ambitious about your creativity. You're feeling ambitious about your ego and your ability to put forth your creative works. You're feeling ambitious about your children and about your dating life. The 5th house is a very huge house, and it covers a lot. It covers more than some other houses. With Capricorn here, if we break it down to each of these areas, you're feeling ambitious about your creativity. You're feeling like, and I think a lot of us have this feeling where we're like, yo, I'm pretty good at this, but I kind of been slacking. You are like, no, I'm good at XYZ. I've created good work, whether you are a singer or a painter or whatever it is that you do creatively. If you're a comedian, you're starting to be more shrewd. You're setting goals and you're setting systems to get to these goals. As a quick side case study, one of my favorite comedians right now is Josh Johnson, and I knew about him for like the last 6 years, but I didn't see too much about him on the internet. And he talked about, for the year of 2024, he decided to put up one stand-up a week, every week, no matter what, for the year, and that's what he did. He has exploded in fame. He has gone on tours around the country, and he has consistently thanked the YouTube community where he was posting for his success. And while that is part of it, it was really his consistency. We all knew him. He had been on, like television. He'd been on Comedy Central. Like, we've heard of him. But we had to, it's that Capricorn of like climbing stairs to reach the goal. The way that he got there is with his consistency, but he was consistent about something creative. You're also feeling ambitious about your ego right now. Your ego in itself is feeling this Capricornian. Capricorn energy is very primal. It's very like, I can do it. It's very much, of course I'm going to do it. There is no choice. It's very much, I was meant for this. I was born for this. I have to do this. That's Capricorn energy. And you're feeling like that about yourself right now. You're feeling like, damn, I was born with ambition. You have Capricorn in the 5th house. You were born with ambition. You're proud of your ambition. And that's going to even further help you put those creative works out there. You're feeling ambitious with your kids. And as long as we don't push them too far, you may be wanting to instill that in them. Teach them how important it is to work hard. Show them the value of hard work. And that could be having them help you around the house when dinner's done. Telling them a little bit more about your experiences at work so they can understand the pitfalls to stay away from and the things to try to do. Maybe taking them along a little bit with your work, as long as you're not boring them, you know, as long as they're getting something out of it. Your kids can really be soaking up at this time how hard you work. They might just see you and be like, wow, my mom or dad is working really hard right now. They might start to admire that and internally, subconsciously, you know, plant those seeds within themselves so that when they grow up, they can be very hardworking. Also, you're feeling very ambitious with your dating life. You may be really wanting to like shoot higher. I don't believe that anyone is out of someone's league. I don't like that terminology. I think it can be degrading to some people, but you are wanting a person who you feel like matches your energy. You want a person who's driven for success. You want a person who works hard. You want a person who doesn't make excuses, who is practical. You don't want to date somebody right now that's like, I want to do this. And then every day you see them do actions that don't lead anywhere to that. You want that person, not only that they are reaching a goal, but you probably are more turned on by them if they've already reached a couple goals. You're going to be feeling very giggly, very laughy with this person, or even if you're just going on dates with people who just emit that energy out. Ambitious energy is emitting from your pores right now. You're loving it. There could be new people coming into your life who are ambitious, new dates. I say the apps all the time because that is how the majority of people meet these days. So you could be having dates that come out of nowhere, or relationships, even that could be starting at work, where you are interested in dating somebody, you have fun with them, you think they're cute, you're attracted, and part of it is this relation to work. What I think is even more interesting is that you guys have Saturn transiting Pisces. It's a sextile to the new moon, and it's in the 7th house. So it's really compounding on this energy. Saturn here is in Pisces. You have Pisces in the 7th, and Pisces can be very dreamy, very imaginative, and it can imagine the most beautiful things. It can pull things out of the cosmos that the rest of us have not even would not have thought of, or had not yet put together. I always say that Pisces puts pieces of the puzzle together that people think don't fit, but it actually creates a very beautiful and unique picture. You're very compassionate with your partners. I'm sorry, I gotta adjust. You're very compassionate with your partners. You are very loving to them, and you give a lot to them. However, Saturn has been transiting Pisces for the last year or the last year and a half to 2, depending on where you are in the transit, and it's asking you to leave behind some of the more self-destructive patterns of Pisces. Although there can be a lot of good things that I just mentioned, you could be too daydreaming about a partner, maybe fantasizing about a partner who doesn't exist. You could be boundless. This happens so much with Piscean relationships, where you are getting overly involved in their problems, overly involved in giving them money or your energy or your time, or you kind of can just lose who you are at times in an effort to maintain this partnership. You could also attract people, even if you're not putting that energy out explicitly, you can attract people who bring that out of you or who are like that themselves. And Saturn has been like, no. Saturn is like, you need to be practical. You need to focus on yourself and themselves. There needs to be some boundaries. There needs to be some grounding in reality in order for this relationship to work. It's been like whipping everyone into shape. It's been whipping you into shape. It's been whipping your partners into shape. You could have, for the last year and a half, moved away from those old patterns of being when it comes to relationships. And I think that's a good thing. Any Saturn transit will have its negative incarnations. It will have things that we don't quite enjoy feeling, but because it's a sextile, I'm talking about the positive parts. How these things relate is that there is a seriousness of Saturn in your 7th house, and that positively influences your dating life and your ego. You feel like you deserve the best, especially with the new moon in the 5th house. Selectivity can be self-love if not taken too far, is what I wrote. We don't want to be unrealistic, but there's a good chance that you're not being that with Saturn here in the 7th, but we do want to shoot high. We do want to shoot for an ambitious person, a practical person. We want to feel that the person that we're with is not sort of dilly-dallying through life, because that's just not attractive. We want to feel like we can meet someone and revel at their hard work, and also in a couple of years from now, if you're still with them, that they'll be even more successful. And it's not just success for success sake, it's also the lessons you learn. Often people who are successful have to maintain some level of emotional stability. They can't be freaking out at work. They have to have some level of financial security. Like, it's not everything to have an ambitious partner, but it is something. And you are really feeling like that's what you want right now. And Virgo, you're gonna get it. And you're gonna get it because there's such this powerful energy in this house of dating, and there's Saturn's getting ready to leave your 7th house, so there's so many lessons that you've learned. Saturn also can block relationships or limit them as you learn these lessons, and because it is about to leave, you can start to incorporate all of this about what you want in a partner, and they can start to find you more easily now. So I get very excited, Virgo. I think this is a very exciting new moon. Remember, you deserve the best, and to try to be the best to someone else. And we will talk about it again in 6 months. Hi, Libra. So we have this new moon in Capricorn, which is happening in your 4th house. So when we have a new moon in the 4th house, there is new energy around the home, the physical home, your inner self, your inner child, and the actual dynamics with your family members. And this could look like bringing new furniture or something new, a cycle of newness starting within your home. That could be signing a lease, it could be buying a new home, it could just be even starting the paperwork, starting the process for buying a new home. We all know that that doesn't happen overnight. Or it could very simply just be cleaning out things from the basement, bringing some new decorations. It could be something as simple as reorganizing your room, turning your bed around to the other side, moving a mirror, something like that. Because the new moon is in Capricorn, when it comes to your physical home, you could also be wanting to work more on your home. Working at home could be a thing. Maybe you've gotten an offer. You've gotten an offer to be hybrid, to work a little bit at home. You could be working on the home as far as like starting actual projects. Maybe you've been meaning to paint something or finish a deck out back or something like that. Working on the home, working at home is something new that starts. When it comes to your family, opportunity to work with family, to include your family members in your business, to work on a family business, start a family business, or maybe you just have a little bit of a side hustle and you do it here and there with brothers and sisters. That could be, or it could just be that you have family members that are Capricorns and you're putting in the work to reach out to them more, to start a new dynamic. New dynamics are the themes of new moons. New dynamics with your family members. And when it comes to your inner self and your inner child, you are realizing how important it is to work hard. And because you do have Capricorn in the 4th house, it's likely that this was instilled in you as a child. It's likely that your family members were either Capricorns or they constantly had this energy of like always working, always wanting to be achievement oriented, constantly considering how their actions are going to play out in the public eye. That's very much ingrained in who you are, and I think that there is just this like revitalization of that at this time. You are wanting to really start to bring that back out of yourself, like to take it from this dark place, which is in the 4th, the deepest part, and start to bring it forward into your being, where you are appreciating what it means to work hard and the hard work that you've done, and you want to see more of that. You want to cultivate more of that in yourself. Point blank, you want to work harder, and that is what this new moon in the 4th house is calling on you to do. You have a beautiful sextile from Saturn, which is in the 6th house. Saturn in the 6th house has its ups and downs, but because it's a sextile, so it's going to be the positive aspects of Saturn that's helping this new moon. Saturn is the dispositor of Capricorn, so that already provides a very nice level of support, a very nice foundation. Pisces is very dreamy. Pisces is very creative. It can kind of see things. A Pisces 12th house person can see things in their mind, and they can, that other people don't see. And I always say that they can put pieces of a puzzle together that other people would not have, and yet it still makes something beautiful. They are very creative, very dreamy, very compassionate. They are all these things. But also on the flip side, can get very lost in those daydreams, can have an idea and then an hour later forget what it was, but also can come up with something completely new. So there's sort of this like pros and cons of Pisces, and there's pros and cons of every sign. However, because we have had Saturn transiting here for the last like 2 years, it's been really nice because what it does is it's a perfect conduit to taking what's in our mind and what we see and bringing it into reality. So it's very interesting to be a Libra ascendant because everything is switched. All of the house rulers are in the opposite sign. So typically Virgo, like if we're starting from with no one's chart, just the standard chart, Virgo is the natural ruler of the 6th. But because you're a Libra ascendant, Pisces is the natural ruler. So I would think in your life you've had a time of not being the best when it comes to being on time, having structure and routine and discipline. I would say your diet, just overseeing the details that impact our health have not maybe been your strongest point. Maybe confused at times about why things are happening or why things are going the way they're going, not realizing that a stricter adherence to structure, to routine, to looking at the times, looking at dates, looking at details of appointments, reading the back of labels of things that you're eating and consuming, putting on your body is what is having a huge impact on the outcome. But as a Pisces, that's hard for you to see. You're just like, I'm not understanding. It could be like you go to bed every day at 1 o'clock, but you don't understand. At 1 o'clock in the morning, you have to be up at 6, but you're like, why am I tired? And to everyone else, as is typical of Pisces, it's very obvious, but to you, it can be unclear. When Saturn has come through here, what it has does is sort of whip the Pisces into shape and giving you this energy of being more practical about your structure and about your routine. Like, hey, is this working for me? What's working? What's not? Let's go to bed on time. Let's put our laundry in the night before, so when we wake up, it's already done, or all we have to do is dry it. It's sort of putting, it's a boot camp. It's a drill sergeant. Saturn is the drill sergeant and Pisces is the new person in the boot camp. And so that energy is helping you realize that hardworking part of yourself because you have been being stricter with your diet, more selective, because you have been paying more attention to times, to details. Hey, on this day I have to be here by 10 o'clock and then I have to be over here by 12. I should make sure I get everything done in an hour so I have enough time to drive here. Like, that is how you've been taking it. You've become more Virgoan, more Capricornian. And that is helping you realize that there's this part of yourself that does want to be more like that in the world. You do want to work harder. You do want to accomplish more. You do want to be more success oriented. And that makes sense because you are a Libra rising. You have a cardinal rising sign. Libra is not simply beauty or art. Libra works very, very hard. Libra is very goal-oriented, very driven. So yeah, it's really a beautiful trine, recognizing the hard work that is necessary to achieve the goals that we want to achieve in life. Whether those goals be related to the home or just those goals are related to having that be more part of your cemented in your personality, I should say. And my advice for you guys, Libra, for how to best you utilize the energy of the new moon, I would say that this could be a time of calling for a more balanced work-life scenario. Maybe you are trying to work hard but also realize the time that you need to spend at home. So you should use structure and routine right now to help you free up more time and energy so you can spend it with family and at home by yourself. Use your 6th house. Use organization and structure and planning to help you achieve your 4th house goals. Other than that, I think this is going to be a very fun, very enlightening new moon. It's going to be very personal for you guys, Libra, and we will talk about it again in 6 months. Alright, so Scorpio, you guys have a new moon in Capricorn. It's going to be in your 3rd house. So whenever there's a new moon in the 3rd house, this looks like new invigoration and new energy around communication. You probably really want to talk to people, and in all variety of ways. You want to talk to people by text, you want to send them memes, you want to send them emails, you just want to call and be more in communication with people. You realize at this time like how important that is. It is new energy with learning, especially learning skills. You may have this invigoration to work hard on something that you've been wanting to learn for a while, something you've been thinking about. It could be like, I want to learn a new language, so you download your Duolingo. It could be, I want to learn how to run a mile. I want to learn how to do a handstand. It could be any skill that you're interested in. It's something that you want to learn. And with the new moon being in the Capricorn, you're going to have quite a structured approach to this. This is not, oh, I want to learn this, and then 5 minutes later you get bored. This is Capricorn. This is sustained, consistent energy that eventually leads to higher levels of mastery over time, leads to achievement, leads to success, leads to status. That is Capricorn energy, and that is what is happening in your third house. It could be that you want to learn skills that are related to work, or that could help you work better, whether you want to read a book on how to communicate with people. I would think the book How to Win Friends and Influence People would be great for you guys, because it's a book, it's third house, it's reading, it's related to work, but it's also about skill. Stuff like that is really where your mind is. You're like, how can I train myself to be better, to work better? How can I train my speech so that I'm more effective in my speech? You could want to start something with your siblings. You could want to start a little side business, or just work with them, utilize their help in some way, or maybe they're utilizing your help. Could be with cousins. You also, I think, probably have a more structured approach to going around town. I think so many of us overlook the third house and the sixth house, and we don't realize that there are so many gems near us, so many people that are also gems around us. Could be a local deli or a coffee shop. I always say just something local library that you really enjoy, and that you cannot know unless you go and explore your neighborhood. So, Scorpio, that is what is going on for you right now with the new moon. There's a beautiful sextile from Saturn in the 5th house. So Saturn in any house has its pros and cons. It is quite a tough transit, but because it's a sextile, it's going to be the positive aspects that are really strengthening the energy of the new moon and just providing a nice solid base of support. It's also a very comfortable sextile because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, so the energy gets along very well. There is a seriousness and a duty that you have been having when it comes to fun, when it comes to self-expression and creativity. You could have been, for this last 1.5 years, 2 years, taking it more seriously, working harder at it, honing your skills, constantly practicing things. Even though these are creative things you could be doing, it could be dancing, it could be anything. You are still having this energy of wanting to get better, wanting to improve, wanting to be seen as successful, wanting to be seen for your achievements in a creative arena. And that is providing a very nice base to helping guide your third house moon. The seriousness and the duty that's applied to fun, the structured approach that is applied to fun, allows you to explore your third house more. You're more like, okay, because the Saturn in the 5th house about fun is like, okay, since we're going to be serious about fun, I want to, like, I knew these people a couple years ago. There was this show called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and any restaurant that made it, like, it's like a cooking show, that made it onto the show that was in their city, they went to that. A little bucket list of things to do around town. Just Google, like, things to do in your city, and that kind of stuff is stuff that you're really going to be interested in right now. And then Saturn is going to really come in and sort of like be the planner and help make that happen. Saturn is going to have you look up the dates, have you look up the tickets, make sure that you have enough time off from work to go do these things, stuff like that. You're also using your structured approach to creativity to learn a new hobby. This is such a perfect time to join a class. Not only reading a book, but joining a class just encompasses everything about the third house. It's learning, it's skill, it's socializing. Third house really loves to socialize. It is communicating because you're talking, and it is helping you. It can help you with your work because it can help you network and meet other people. And at the end of any class or book, you should feel very sociable and inspired. And I think that that's really the point of this new moon. Is it's a sort of creative inspiration. It is a fun inspiration that you feel like is also critical to helping you become successful. It's not just about rote hard work and memorization. It's also about the creativity and the enjoyment along the path of success. So Scorpio, that's what I have for you guys as far as this new moon. Work hard, get out there, socialize, learn some skills, and we will talk about it again in 6 months. Sagittarius, my sign, our sign, we are having a new moon in Capricorn in the 2nd house. So interesting. Capricorn in the second house is very much about being practical, about saving money, being practical about our finances and our investments, being strict and adhering to budgeting. And we definitely need that as a Sagittarius rising, because we can be so, we can be so spontaneous and out there, and details and practicality is just not what we're focused on in this lifetime. But we are saved by having our second house ruled by Capricorn. So when the new moon comes here in Capricorn, we are thinking of new ideas, new ways, new energy that is going to be coming into our second house. What are some new things, new ways we can save? My mom gave me a great idea a while ago. She said every Sunday or every 2 weeks, put an amount of savings in your account to take it to the next 100. So if you have 50 on a Sunday, then add 50 to take it to the next 100. If you have 70, then add 30, and that will take it to the next 100. It seems small, and I actually started doing it, but I changed it. Instead of going to the next 100, I just go to the next 50 mark. But it's actually really helped me make a lot of strides in my savings. You're gonna have new ideas about savings. You're gonna have new ideas about money. It's interesting to have Capricorn in the second house, because Capricorn is about work, and then the second house is about money. So we are about maximizing that symbiotic relationship. Some people work hard, they don't make a lot of money, or some people don't work hard, they make a lot. It can be whatever. You are about making your work be as profitable as it possibly can. Making your bank account reflect how much work that you put in. So those are some things. It's mostly about saving, but it's also about income. What ways can you work harder to increase income? This is big side hustle energy. This is, can you pick up a few extra hours or work an extra shift during the holidays? Maybe you get some sort of holiday pay. That's the kind of stuff that you're thinking about right now. And you're also thinking about the long term, the future. You're not just thinking about one extra shift there. You're like, how can I build my financial security for the future? In the book Atomic Habits, and I know this is not a verbatim quote, I'm paraphrasing, he says that time is the enemy of bad habits, but it is the benefactor to good habits. So it's also about setting up some sort of financial plan that you can sustainably do consistently over time. So don't say I'm going to save $500 a month if you can't do it. Say I'm going to save $25 a week. If that's more than what you've already been doing, you're going to do it until it becomes natural, until you don't think about it. I would even say, and this is like some of the best financial advice I've ever gotten, is to automate it. Automate your savings into maybe a high yield savings account. And then over time it will become natural. You won't even notice it, and then you can go back and bump it up to $35. And so stuff like that, you're thinking about your financial future. I really want you guys and us to get invested into learning. There's so much to learn, and YouTube has like this most abundant free financial literacy advice out there. Learn about high yield savings, learn about stocks, learn about bonds. I mean, we have inflation, we have a new administration coming in, there's lots of things that's going on with the economy. So it's important for us to think about our future selves and set them up for success. And that's what we're doing right now. We're also, because second house is about values, finding value in our work ethic, patting ourselves on the back for that part of ourselves, being like, you know what, I achieved XYZ because I worked so hard. That is very important for us to recognize and revel in that. And because another reason that that's also an added important is because there's a very beautiful sextile from Saturn in Pisces in the 4th house to the new moon. Saturn is the dispositor of Capricorn, so it's a very nice level of support. It's a very nice foundation and a base to make what we're learning even more solid. When Saturn goes to the 4th house, it affects our physical home, it affects our emotional home, by that I mean the dynamics that we will have with our family members, but it's also our inner self, our inner child. And you have really been in your inner self, in your alone time, in your inner soul, having a sort of seriousness come about us. And like I said, we need that a little bit because we can be very, very jokey at times. There's a seriousness and a practicality that has been emanating from deep inside out into the world. We are recognizing how important it is to work hard. We are recognizing how important it is to be places on time, to do the things that we said we're going to do things consistently over a period of time. I think every self-help forum has said again and again that consistency is the key, like more than your actual talent or more than these bursts of hard work is being consistent. And so we have really been learning that over the last 1.5 to 2 years, depending on where you are in the transit. And that again is providing a very nice level of support to the new moon, just really reinforcing that idea that yes, I mean, it's not all about work. There has to be a balance, but yes, hard work is crucial and will get us farther in life than if we did not work hard. So that is really what you guys are doing right now, Sagittarius. We are reveling in our hard work. We are thinking about how to work harder, and we're also thinking about how to make that equal some dollar signs for us so that we can set our future selves up for success. My advice for you guys, Sagittarius, for how to best utilize the energy of the new moon: make sure to appreciate the feeling of having things in order at home and in order with yourself and with your family. And this will allow you to create order in your mind, which translates to your finances. Order pervades the personality. If you are orderly in one area of life, it will likely start to bleed into other areas of life, and that's a good thing. And like I said, we need that sometimes, and this will also, this being orderly will also increase the value of how you feel about yourself. And when you get your finances in order, you're going to be feeling really confident. So yes, Sagittarius, that is my advice. Whatever you start now, let me know. Whatever you're thinking about starting, and we'll talk about it again in 6 months. Capricorn, this new moon for you guys is going to be in the first house. So you guys are really just having new ideas about yourself, who you are, where you're going, how you want to present yourself to the world. Because you are a Capricorn, you likely present yourself like this. I have a blazer on, you're looking very classy, hair pulled back, very polished, and this is because this mask that you're wearing to the world is a part of who you want to be in your journey, in your destination. You want to be a hard worker, you want to work hard, and so you present yourself as a very respectable person. A Capricorn always presents themselves as a person who would have status, even if you are in like lower middle class or like considered working class. You will still sort of always have this dutiful look upon you, as if you just came from wherever you're going to work, something like that. And you're just having new ideas about how to present yourself. Maybe you want to, spiff up your wardrobe a bit. Not that it's bad, because I can't see a Capricorn really having a bad wardrobe, but you might be wanting to add in some pieces that make you feel a little bit more dignified, or maybe align more with your style or your age or something like that. You're having new ideas about yourself, how you want to present your personality. You're having new ideas about where you want to go, your direction. The first house is an angular house, and Capricorn is a cardinal sign, and all the cardinal signs are extremely, extremely powerful. They're extremely hardworking, but Capricorn might just be number one in terms of that hunger, that inner hunger for success and for achievement. And so there's a lot of energy. Not only is this a cardinal new moon, but it's in your first house, which is in the cardinal house, and you're a Capricorn already, Capricorn rising. Feel extremely invigorated and you're feeling extremely ambitious on this new moon. And I think it's so fitting that this new moon happens right before the new year. It's this energy of new year, new me. You are thinking about where you want to go with your career and who do you want to be. We have this vision of ourselves of, when I'm 25 or when I'm 30, I will have accomplished XYZ. And you're asking yourself, are you meeting your goals? Do you need to rewrite them or readjust them? Which I think almost all the time we do. Things change, we change, and therefore our goals and our desires change. But you, no matter what, are having new ideas about your career, and you're like, what do I want that to be, and how am I going to get there? And you are putting those things into place. There is a real, I don't want to say rigidness, but a very stoic, intense, and unwavering energy that is unleashed in you right now to propel you to be more successful, but in your terms of success, and to achieve more. Whatever you decide, whatever those ideas are, and whatever you start working towards, I really have faith that you're going to sustain it for a long time, simply because you are a Capricorn rising, and you guys know the power of consistency more than anybody. And whatever you do, in 6 months, we are going to talk about it. On July 10th, there will be a full moon in Capricorn in 2025. And so we're going to see how the steps that you've taken, have they led you closer to where you wanted to go, and where do you want to go? And we're going to talk about those things again. There is a beautiful sextile, by the way, from Saturn and Pisces in the third house. This is great because Saturn is already the dispositor of Capricorn. And so it gives it a very nice push. There's a very nice foundation, a very nice solid ground of support for the ideas and for the energy that I just talked about. Pisces can be very sort of lackadaisical, very creative and dreamy and compassionate, and those things are beautiful, but also it can be boundless, it can be forgetful, and it can have a hard time really bringing those beautiful ideas that they have and just pushing them into reality. And so Saturn, as it's been transiting Pisces, it's just been this really beautiful conduit of taking what we see in our minds and helping us put it out into the world. Saturn in your third house could be, Saturn transiting your third house could really have you for this last year and a half, 2 years, depending on where you are in the transit, being more practical about getting to places on time, making it to appointments, keeping up with your car. That's a huge one that I've learned. I have third house Saturn natally in Pisces, and I've often, like, if my car is having a sound, I will not check it, or I will not until the car becomes like undrivable. And then often there are other things that have gone wrong because I have not fixed the thing that I knew something was wrong previously. And so just that, mastering that sort of energy, as I've gone through my Saturn return, every time there's something wrong with my car, I go to the mechanic or I get a second opinion and I fix it, and that helps the longevity of it. Being on top of things in our third house, with our siblings, with our cousins in our neighborhood, and with our transportation, and with our mind, with our dates and our appointments, really has been this sort of, Saturn is like a drill sergeant and Pisces is like the person in first week of boot camp, and Saturn is sort of just like whipping you into shape, whipping your mind into shape. This whole house is like, clean this up, let's go. It's like a Gordon Ramsay, but with the best intentions. And that is beautiful because it really supports what's going on in the first house. You cannot achieve or go anywhere in the first house if you don't have your third house in order. You can have all the dreams in the world or the ambitions in the world, but if you are forgetting where to go, or if your car is breaking down and that could have been prevented, then it's just going to make you not as successful as you could have been. And it's also going to send this idea to your subconscious that you're a disorganized person or something like that. So Saturn here, since it's been whipping you into shape, is like, hey, no, we are on this. We've been doing really good. Our mind is clear, and your Saturn, your third house, your mind is ready to support your first house being of trying to direct where your soul wants to go. So Capricorn, my advice for you guys is, by taking care and allowing order to come in, a calm order, you can start to feel good about yourself and who you are and where you're going, literally where you're going with the third house, and figuratively about where you're going and about your work. The third house and the first house need each other to survive. So yes, we will talk about it again in July. Aquarius, there's a new moon in Capricorn that's going to be happening in your 12th house. You're going to be having new ideas, new energy. You'll be feeling invigorated around the 12th, around mental health, around spirituality practices, about getting your inner world in order, your inner peace. When you are, the 12th house is when you are alone in your room and you have nothing to do for the next couple hours and you're just completely isolated. How are you feeling? And it should be, for everyone, happy. It should be joyous, lighting a candle, reading a book, doing yoga, meditating, even taking a walk in a forest or early morning or a late night walk, as long as it's safe. And we're very much 12th house things. Being alone, spending time with ourselves is very beautiful, and you are becoming more, you have this urge to become more structured in that. So I had this thing, for example, where I would like to go on a 30-minute walk per day, and I try to do it in the morning, you know, when the sun is up and I can get that vitamin D and see people, and obviously it's safer and blah blah blah. But I work very late, and so sometimes I will walk late, but like I said, in an area that is safe. Doing those things and being consistent about things that bring you better mental health and mental peace is crucial. We can all meditate for a day or a week, but we don't really see those as much benefits as we could if we were doing it every day, even if it was just for a minute, like literally 60 seconds or even 10, 15 seconds a day for 6 months is way better than 5 minutes a day for 2 weeks. It's the consistency to take care of our mental health, and that's really this Capricorn energy. Capricorn is about consistent, not sporadic bursts of energy, but consistent intervals Capricorn is about putting forth consistent effort towards something that is sustainable, so that over time, naturally, it will get bigger and bigger. You will get better and better, and you will have that feeling of achievement, that feeling of success and status. That is what Capricorn is about. So having it in the 12th house is really being very structured about taking care of your mental health, getting on your appointments if you do go to therapy, or if you go to some sort of therapeutic group, making sure you show up. That is an underrated part of therapy, and you guys have always had that by virtue of having Capricorn here, but you really have it now. You really want to be on it. Also, I would say in your alone time, you might like to actually work. You may like to be a person who, when you are alone, when you come home at night for an hour, you might like to work on a side hustle or a YouTube channel or something like that. In your alone time, you are still focusing on success and achievement, or it could just be like reading books that are focused on achievement or focused on success, or the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Those sorts of things be very interesting to you guys. There's a very beautiful sextile from Saturn that's going to be in your 2nd house. What makes it so beautiful is a couple things. First of all, Saturn is the dispositor of Capricorn, so the energy of the planets is already getting along. It already makes sense, if you will. And then you have Pisces, you have Saturn transiting Pisces, and it's been for the last 1.5 years, 2 years. Not sure of the exact dates, but it doesn't matter. It's been transiting there. Pisces is so beautiful, so creative, so compassionate, so otherworldly and mystical, and just able to see and put together things that I think the majority of other signs would have missed or only seen a part of. And that's part of it being the last sign. It truly is beautiful, but Pisces, like every other sign, has pros and cons, and it can also be boundless, and it can be lost in daydreams. It can have a beautiful inspirational thought, and an hour later it can forget what it is, because it's just so, it's the nature of it. It is so whimsical and free. And Saturn becomes a perfect conduit for taking what Pisces sees in their mind and making it a reality. Saturn is sort of like a drill sergeant, and then Pisces is sort of like the person, it's their first week in boot camp. Saturn is whipping the Pisces into shape. It is whipping your 2nd house at this time into shape. And although Saturn in itself definitely has its cons, definitely, because it's a sextile, it's going to actually, the beautiful aspects of Saturn transiting the 2nd are going to really support the new moon. So what this looks like is you, for the last 1.5 years, 2 years, having lessons from the universe that are teaching you, you really got to be on top of your finances. Having Pisces in the 2nd house is really something. And I have Neptune here, so I understand there's this real fogginess during your life, a lack of wanting to understand what's going on. This energy is very much, I don't know how much is in my bank account, very much swiping your card and doing this and hoping that it goes through. Very much having bills come out of nowhere, or things that you forgot about, or you knew you had to pay a bill, but you thought it was on the 16th, but really it's the 13th, and now you got a late fee. It's those sorts of things. The money feels like sand. The money feels like it's just slipping through your hand. You're like, I don't understand why. And like, to everyone else, it's so obvious, but as is the nature of Pisces, it is very not obvious to you. And that's no shade, because like I said, I have Neptune in the 2nd house, so I fully understand this energy. But Saturn is coming in here, and it's like, no, we need to sit down, we need to look at what's going on. Let's make a budget. Let's log into the app and to your Wells Fargo or to your PNC Bank app and see what transactions have been going on, getting a better concrete understanding, not just what you think is going on, what is actually going on with our finances. And that has been very, very helpful to you guys. Saturn in the 2nd house can be a really hard year, or a really hard transit as far as like having actual money, but the lessons that you're going to learn from it are incredible. And I knew, because I just went through this, I hated hearing that, but it is true. I'm very grateful for the lessons of when Saturn just came out of my 2nd. So how this helps the new moon is that because you're being practical and you're being grounded in reality, that is allowing you to have an inner peace. The more you're able to take care of your money, the more you're able to go on those walks and truly revel in nature, revel in what you see, be in the present moment. We all know that when we're stressed about money, when we're doing other tasks, we're still thinking about, Even if you're washing the dishes, you're like, yeah, I gotta pay that bill. Oh wait, this is coming up and that's coming up. You're not really in the moment. You're not being able to fully take care of your 12th house. So because you have been taking care of your second house, and the more you take care of your second house, not hyper focus, but do things that will lead to healthy financial outcomes, you're gonna feel so good about being able to compartmentalize that and just be at peace with your inner self. Focus on, love yourself, meditate, say your affirmations, go to therapy, really taking care of your mind. You're going to really feel great, Aquarius. So I think this is a super peaceful, very nice, very soft new moon that is coming to you guys, where you learn to just appreciate being you, just love being you, and leaving the material world for a second alone, because you should have, hopefully, been taking really good care of it. And last but never least, we have Pisces. You guys are having a new moon in your 11th house. New energy, new friends coming around, new groups to be a part of. You feel very invigorated. Capricorn is cardinal energy, so it's not just feeling for the sake of feeling. It's feeling and then it wants to do something with it. You are really feeling like Capricorn is it's about consistent, sustained energy that leads to eventual and gradual success. That's inevitable because you've been being consistent. You could be wanting to be more consistent as far as hanging out with your friends, maybe. And this happens so much where people are like, oh, you want to hang out on this day? And the day comes like, oh, but this came up and that came up. And so there's just a constant rescheduling. Maybe you want to be more consistent and say, hey, once a month, I would love us for all to meet up and eat dinner. Or one guy I used to work with said that every Sunday that him, his girlfriend, and their friends would get together on Sunday nights and play poker and bring a little bit of food and wine. You want to be consistent and put in that energy with your friends. This is so important. I think people in this day and age, and I think especially you Pisces being maybe tending to be more introverted depending on your chart, forget to realize sometimes that friendships take work. It's not like we're in elementary school where you just go there every day and just like, oh, it's my friend. She's just, you're both obligated to be in the same place every day at the same time. And so naturally friendships form. But when you're an adult and you're working out in the world, that's not the same. Sometimes somebody could have a different work-life balance, or maybe they're at a different point in their life. Maybe somebody has kids, or somebody is married, or both, and that affects how you interact with them. It takes work and it takes consistent effort to maintain a friendship, and that is what you are feeling really invigorated to do right now. So yeah, Pisces, I would say call up your friends, and even if you can't get something consistent going with them, just make sure to consistently check in with them, see how they're doing. Be a consistent, stable, and dependable friend. And I would argue that you probably already have consistent, stable, and dependable friends. Seeing that you have Capricorn in the 11th, you may just naturally attract people like this, and so I think they're really going to appreciate this energy anyway. What is also really beautiful is that there is a sextile from Saturn and Pisces in the 1st to the new moon. Saturn is already the dispositor of Capricorn. So there's a very nice foundation, there's a very nice energy, very nice soft push from Saturn to Capricorn, but pushing it to help it do what it was already doing. Saturn has been transiting Pisces for the last 1.5 to 2 years, and that's in your 1st house, which is an angular house, super, super important. Pisces energy in general, as you guys know, is very dreamy, very beautiful, very compassionate, very loving, boundless at times, so creative. I don't know if I said that already, but truly Pisces is able to put together things that nobody else could have. I say that Pisces can put 2 pieces of a puzzle together that look like they wouldn't fit, and yet it makes a new beautiful picture. That is part of Pisces being last. It gets the things that fell through all of the cracks and it lands on Pisces, and Pisces is like, I see you. Pisces is so beautiful. And yet on the flip side, you know, there's pros and cons to every side. Pisces can be too daydreamy, too boundless, forgetting, confused, delusional, and all those other things are staples of being a Pisces 12th house person. Saturn has been very beautiful when it's transiting Pisces through all of us, because it is helping us be more practical. It is helping us, it's a perfect conduit for taking the imagination and the creativity and it being an actual vessel to birth it into being something that's able to be out in the world, that's able to be tangible, to not just be dazzled by something that you see in your mind, but being able to express that and let other people also be dazzled by this. That is what we've all been experiencing with Saturn and Pisces. But because this is in your first house, there is a real, I don't want to say level of seriousness, because that's like sounds serious and bad, but there's a real level of, oh my god, it's light to my face, I'm sorry. There's a real level of practicality that has overcome you in the last 2 years. And Saturn in the first can be hard, it can feel hard. I went through it not too long ago, so I understand. There's a feeling of being hard on yourself, but it's doing it to make you stronger. It is trying to whip you into shape in a way. It is trying to wave away the clouds that are in front of you sometimes, Pisces, where you may have a hard time knowing where you're going, knowing yourself, your personality, or how you want to present yourself to the world. You may have felt a real grounding in that. You may feel more sure, like, I know who I am. If you were to make a bullet point list of 10 things about yourself, Pisces may not know what to put. Pisces might be confused about what to put. Or Pisces might put something and then everyone else might put something else, and they're just confused of it. Saturn has waved away a lot of that confusion. Saturn has helped you know. Saturn has helped you show up and be on time and know who you are more and what you want. It's giving you a real deep level of confidence, even if the road to that confidence by having Saturn transit the first is not always the most fun. It is truly beautiful and necessary for all of us. All of us need a Saturn transiting the first. And that is beautiful, because although Saturn has its pros and cons, and it has a lot of cons because it is Saturn, because it's a sextile, it's going to be the most beautiful parts of this transit that are supporting the new moon. There is a real confidence that you need in order to interact with others, in order to interact with your friend, in order to show up on time, or to remember the dates that you guys set for something. That is needed in order to be a good friend. And also your friends are Capricornian like, so they're also ambitious people. I think are attracted to other ambitious people. They're going to be very attracted to this side of you that is more practical, more grounded in reality, more serious and focused, and more dutiful. And I mean all those things in a good way. This feeling of duty and discipline is pervading who you are, and it's going to stay with you for a long time. It's anything transit the first house is a very important transit, and it's helping you network. It's helping you get along better with your friends. It's helping you realize your personal dreams and goals. I think every person in this world has some sort of dream, and whether or not that's to be a model or an actress or whatever it is, and no one can say how successful you will be, but I think we all can, or most of us can relate to, at some point in time we recognize that we have not been trying or working towards our dreams as much as we should be, or we realize, or we have this thing sometimes, especially if you're Pisces or have 12th house energy. I have lots of 12th house energy. You think about something so much and you daydream about something so much, and for some reason that kind of makes us feel like we've done actual work to get there, and it's like, no, you've just daydreamed. But that feels so real to us as Pisces people. So as Piscean people, I should say. So you are able to more move towards your dreams in a tangible, real world way. You're able to see like measurable results of you getting closer to your dream, whatever your dream is, because of this Saturn sextile, and the new moon is just loving it, and then the Saturn is loving the new moon. So it's just this really nice symbiotic relationship and very interesting energy for someone like a Pisces to take in. So my advice for you guys, Pisces, by incorporating discipline into our being, we can allow our personal dreams to flourish. We need discipline for our dreams, and we can allow friendships to flourish by being more dependable. So everybody, that is the end of the video. Happy holidays, happy new year, and yeah, I'll see you guys for the next video.